if I wanted to heal my relationship with money, here's how I do it. Disclaimer, I'm not a financial advisor. I don't do financial education. I am just sharing my personal journey as I've like learned about risk tolerance and money and what it feels like to grow and build and invest and spend money and make money and all of the in between. This is my personal journey with it. Anyways, I feel like I came from a household that had a scarcity mindset around money, and I had a privileged life. We were very comfortable. I had a house over my head. We had food to eat. We had family time, and like my mom's family is from the Caribbean, and we got to go visit every couple years. You know, like we had everything we needed and more. But there was financial scarcity in our household, and I think that we always stressed about money. And I think as I became an adult, I noticed that these fears around money were kind of like seeping into me. I was like, okay, I'm being really stingy about certain things. I'm being really frugal. I feel stressed all the time. I'm overworking myself sometimes with jobs that might not be like conducive to my success, just to make a couple extra bucks here and there. And I realized that I was like, okay, now the internet is a thing. We have resources, we have tools, we have the ability to learn about finances in a way that, for example, my dad's generation didn't. I think back in the day before the internet and before we had all these tools, you had to either be born into a wealthy family or have access to wealthy people in some way to even think to learn about growing your wealth or investing or financial distribution. And I think that now anyone, not everybody, but a lot of us have the privilege to learn about those things if we so have that interest. So at a certain point, I got to the point where I was like, okay, I would like to learn more about this because I think that there's something that I'm missing. Like there's just some narrative, there's something that my parents didn't teach me. There's something that I see some other random people doing that seem like they know what they're doing. So I started researching about investing. I started researching about financial education and money mindset and budgeting and spending habits and all of the above around the subject of money. And through this, I learned a lot about how the abundant mindset versus scarcity mindset kind of plays out in your day-to-day behaviors in life. And even if it's a subconscious thing and it's not even true, having the abundant perspective or the optimistic perspective that things will work out for you and that you are supported and that you have a flow of energy and resources builds energy and resources. When you feel like you have the safety to do so, something grows. So I was learning about these things and I was like, okay, well, clearly I have some type of internal blockage. How can I explore that? And I would journal about it and I would write about it and I would watch YouTube videos and I would learn about my relationship with money. And after I went through that era of learning about money mindset, and I still to this day don't think I've fully solved that. I think that's an ever evolving transformation or evolution of how things go as you learn about money, as you make more money, as you know, everyone has ups and downs in life. Like you might go through a hard period where money's tighter. And I think that kind of being intentional with your money mindset is a process that will take your whole life. It's not something that's ever cured. It's just part of life. And but learning about that and just learning about the philosophy behind it, I think like books like I don't know, Think and Grow Rich, like all of these books, like there's resources that kind of helped plant the seed in my head. And then I was like, okay, how am I going to take this and apply it to my own life? How am I going to personalize these things? And through that, after I had that experience, it led me to other people and theories and ideas that led me to learn about investing. And when I learned about investing, all of the positives aside, like, you know, investing is complicated, economics is complicated, there's ups and downs to the market. The real takeaway that I got from that experience was my risk tolerance, developing risk tolerance and developing an understanding of like what it feels like to make money and what it feels like to lose money and what it feels like to put resources into an asset that builds and compounds over time. So you can invest in a stock and you lose all your money, or you can invest and it does super well. But naturally, it's about compound interest. And this element of compound interest applies to your finances, it applies to your relationships, it applies to your businesses, it applies to your academics, your learning, everything in life is about compound interest. Think about a romantic relationship. Someone that you've been with 10 years, someone that you've been with for 10 years has natural compound interest. You guys know each other. You've been communicating and working through hardship and going through the ups and downs of life. Compound interest. A business. In your first year, it's a mess. You're experimenting. You're trying to find your target audience. You're trying to learn how to sell. You're trying to position yourself properly and make the best product you can. That takes time. And once you set a foundation, things begin to build. Compound interest. Money, stocks, investing, compound interest. Ooh, I'm getting a call. So as I started learning about compound interest, I was like, okay, how does compound interest apply to me, and where can I build more instances in my life where I have delayed gratification? So where can I, on purpose, discipline myself enough to not see the returns right away and put things aside so that they build over time? And I think that lots of things in life can teach you those things, but like learning about the basics of investing, I'm also not a skilled investor. I know the basics, is what sort of got me on the train of really thinking strategically about compound interest and thinking about the difference between assets and liabilities and having leverage. I think that more so than just the money itself, wealthy people have leverage, because when you have money, you're not as desperate to make decisions. You have the ability to look at the situation more clearly, quote unquote, in terms of the sense that you're supported and you have resources, and then you can look at it and be like, okay, well, what is it that I actually want to do? Or what is it that I actually need to learn? Or what is it that actually feels right, like it's best for me? And I think that the more of an abundant relationship you have with the resources that you have, the more you're able to look at decisions in your life in that way, and the more you're able to attack it with leverage instead of from a space of need, or like, I have to land this deal. Then, okay, for example, in business, like you're speaking with a client, and when it's coming out of desperation, like, oh, I need to land this deal, versus like, okay, is this actually aligned collaboration? Is this an aligned partnership? Is this something that feels like I want to do, like it's something I want to do, or is it something that I'm doing because I have to hit an income goal that month? And I've kind of been rambling, and this is all just like my personal experience with it, and I still am learning, like I said, but I think that the one takeaway that I feel really grateful for is that building risk tolerance around money and around just life decisions in general has felt expansive for me personally, in terms of pursuing what I love and building projects I'm passionate about and exposing myself and understanding that I'm not always right, and I'm gonna take L's sometimes, and I'm gonna make bad decisions sometimes, but because I'm young and because I have relatively low responsibilities, I'm not married, I don't have kids, now is the time for me personally to explore and experiment with these things and really have high risk tolerance, because there's time to recover and there's time to build compound interest. Anyways, that's my thoughts. Yeah, comment down below what you think, how you feel about this subject. I know it's like really a touchy subject to talk about money, and I always kind of err on the side of caution with it, but also I really value being straight up and being honest about where I'm at, and I am like really into the concept of pursuing creative careers, and creative industries are naturally inconsistent. And artists, I'm an artist, like I know how we are, and I know how we are about money, and I know how we are about creating opportunity and just expression. And I think part of expression for me is documenting all the bits and pieces, and money is part of the bits and pieces, so that's where this comes from. If you made it this far, thank you so much. Subscribe, like the video if you liked it. If you didn't like it, don't like it. That's how it works. Preferably don't dislike it, because I think that does not help the algorithm, and I think, yeah. I felt a little still in this video. I think it was because the subject was money. Like when I'm talking about like something, I'm like, I love money though. I do love money, and part of bringing in more money is being grateful for money and not being scared of money. So part of me just working on that relationship is me posting this video. Bye guys, love you so much.